Hi everyone, my name is Lupe. I wanted to make this video because I have recently noticed that a lot of people that I know or that are around me most of the time still do not know what DACA is. Now, they know the term DACA, they have heard it, they know it has to do something with immigration, but they still have no idea what exactly it does and how it is that it affects over 800,000 people. I wanted to let you guys know all the fallacies and all the misconceptions that are out there about DACA because it really does affect a majority of people, and I just think it's important for everyone, even those who do not support it, to know exactly what it stands for and what it is. This is a very biased video because I am a DACA recipient, but it's biased in a researched way. Everything that I'm going to talk about today, I have researched. I have sources that I can link so that everybody can see the credibility of where I'm coming from. Although I am a DACA recipient, I'm going to be talking about this in a way that I have learned this information for my safety and in order to just make everybody aware what it really is. And everything that I'm going to talk about as well, I have lived through myself in person. So I'm the primary source here, and everything else I will be sure to link so that everyone can, check my credibility. But I just didn't want to get up here and just get it out there because I don't think that it's okay for people to still not know what DACA is, especially if there are so many people being affected by it. I know that maybe a lot of people just don't care for it because it doesn't directly affect you, but it is something that affects thousands and thousands of people. And just as a citizen, someone, as a person, you should know. DACA is an Obama era program, meaning that this was a program that was put in place during Obama's second term, deferred action for childhood arrivals. So it's literally just a name to provide the idea that this is a program that's going to be given to those people who were brought over from their home country, or the country where they were born, to the United States. They immigrated to the United States with their parents or whomever when they were children. So this was not their choice. It was whoever was responsible for them decided that it was probably time for them to come over to the United States for to better their future. That's one of the biggest things of why a lot of immigrants come here to the United States. Speaking in a personal way, I know that my mom decided it was time for me and my sister and her to come to the United States because my dad had already been here, and it had been 5 years since we have all been together. Also because she wanted to provide us with a good education and a way for us to upbring ourselves without having to worry about the things that she had to worry. So DACA was only given to those who were brought over when they were younger. Also, there was a lot of requirements to receive DACA. It wasn't just like an over the night thing that Obama decided to just give to us. There was a long process to it. We had to go through various background checks to see if we even qualified. A lot of people who were brought over as children had already become of age, meaning they have already turned 18 or over, and we're probably not looking to go to college. We're probably just looking to find a job anywhere. So with that, I think a lot of people might have decided to go back to school because that was one of the requirements. Also, you had to prove that you were in the United States on June 15, 2012. Like, you have to have had some type of document, some type of way to prove that you were here on that day. And if you couldn't do that, then you couldn't get DACA, which was insane to me. Thankfully, by whatever gods or spirits, me and my sister I was graduating 8th grade and my sister Gloria was graduating high school, and both of our diplomas, her high school diploma and my 8th grade diploma, both had that date on there. So by the grace of whomever, spirits and gods out there, we were super fortunate to have that document just because it said that exact date. So thanks to that, we were able to prove that we were here on that day. Another thing that DACA gives us is, a working social. So basically what it did is they provided us the opportunity to get a job after we finished school, during school, everything like that. Because before DACA, as immigrants, we were allowed to go to school. We had to pay school like everybody else. There aren't a lot of scholarships for immigrants, so most of the times we did have to pay out of pocket if we wanted to continue our education. But after we were done to school, even if, let's say, I had my doctorate, because that's something that I'm aiming for. If I had my doctorate, let's say in sociology, and I graduated, but I still wouldn't have DACA, like if DACA didn't exist, then that means that I couldn't get a job, because no one was going to hire anybody, even though I have my doctorates, that doesn't have a working social, because then that's them hiring me illegally. So DACA provided us that opportunity to make use of our education and make use of us being here. So that was one of the biggest things, because before we weren't allowed to work legally, not even at a retail store or a restaurant, nothing. I want to talk about some of the fallacies and some of the misconceptions that a lot of people have about DACA, which leads them to not support it, which a lot of them have been spoken by the man in the White House. He has gone on, and a lot of people, because of his position, believe him, even though a lot of the things he says are not true. To begin with, one of the fallacies that is out there that is just very, it's kind of misleading, because I wish it was true, right? Because okay, so it's the fact that they think that it's a pathway to citizenship, but it's not. DACA was strictly made just for us to be able to work, allowed to work. And this permit, we have to renew every 2 years. So if we want to continue working, we have to renew the DACA every 2 years. And every 2 years from the moment you received it, we have to pay a fee. And the price for DACA, every time you renew it, it's $495. It actually went up from 2012. In 2012, it was only $465. But this last 2 times people have had to renew it, it has gone up in price. So it's slowly making its way up to cost more. So yes, every 2 years we have to pay to work. So we are paying the United States to allow us to work. That's basically what we're doing every 2 years. It is not a pathway to citizenship. I can't go up to a lawyer and be like, I have DACA, can I apply to be a citizen? That's not how it works. Never. So that's number one. That is one that, it's out there. I've heard a lot of people say that, well, can't you become a citizen now? And it's like, no, I can't. I wish. So that's a fallacy that it's very common. Number 2 is that DACA recipients do not pay taxes. Oh my Jesus, this is one that really gets to me, because I have been working since I was 16, thank God, because when I was 16, DACA was already around. And ever since I turned 16, I have been paying taxes. I do my taxes every year. I'm about to do my taxes this year with my husband. And let me tell you, it's not pretty. We have so many taxes taken out of our paycheck. This is my tax form from Walgreens, right? I'm not gonna show my address, but you guys can see that is my name and that is my employer. So don't make fun of how much I make. I'm a student. I'm a part-time worker, full-time student. So this is it shows what I made during the year, and it shows what they, so you can see that they're taking money off, right? They're taking federal income, they're the Social Security tax withheld, Medicare, then they take the state. So they're taking out all these taxes that we don't get, It's like we do when we file our taxes, obviously we do get part of it back like everybody else if we did them correctly. And when we file them, but I don't think at the moment I truly believe there's not like a program for us to be able to have our Social Security money like once we retire. I don't think that's an option for us right now. If anybody out there knows, let me know, because I gotta get on that. But at the moment, I believe that whatever taxes, the Medicare and stuff like that, we're not, eligible for any federal anything, so we don't get insurance. So where this money's going to, I don't know, but we still pay our taxes just like anybody else. We've been doing it forever. I know my parents have been paying taxes ever since they got to the United States, which was like over 12 years ago, and they don't even have DACA, So they're paying their taxes. They have been and will continue to do so, because that's the way to do it here, and they know that. So they're just being citizens like anybody else, just not with the title. Number 3 is that we receive government aid, and that's what I was just mentioning right now. We do not. We don't get any type of insurance unless it's through our job. We don't get loans for school. That's a big one that I just found out about, because I'm actually about to finish my associate's degree, so I'm looking to go to a 4-year university, and I was like, I have DACA, I think I can apply to loans and this and that, and then I found out I couldn't. And it was very discouraging, because even though loans are kind of a backlash because they do keep you in debt, it's a way for me to start off and then be able to pay it. Anybody as DACA recipients, unfortunately, we cannot receive any type of federal loans for school. I know that we are allowed to get loans from private banks, but no one wants to do that. If you go to a school where it's $30,000 a year, you don't want to take $30,000 out of a private bank and put yourself in debt to the point that your firstborn has to pay off your debt after you're dead. So, no one wants to do that. So I found that actually just recently, because I'm in the process of trying to figure out where I want to go to school and if I'm going to be able to afford it. So that's one big one that I did research on, and it's very disappointing. Very, very sad to me that I can't even get that. A lot of the scholarships that are out there, we can't receive. I know we can receive some type of private school scholarships. There are now a number of scholarships for DACA recipients, but I believe most of them are nonprofit. These are organizations that are getting together and just supporting the DACA and the dreamers, and helping them, and it's people who donate their money to help us continue our education, which is super amazing. But we also, another big one, you guys know when you guys get your sweet FAFSA refund checks? Oh, sweet moment, right? Well, we don't get that either. We have never been able to get or file for FAFSA, even though we pay our taxes and our parents pay their taxes. So we pay our taxes, our parents pay our taxes, but we don't get anything from that. And we gotta pay for school. We don't we don't qualify for any type of financial aid. So when that FAFSA form comes around, we fill it out just to show that we can't, or we aren't eligible for it. And that's a big one, because you see all the people with their refund checks, going on vacation or paying off something else. And I'm just like, not me. So that's a big one too. A lot of people think we get that FAFSA, but we don't, which is sad, because I wish I did. Number 4 is that DACA recipients are criminals and drug dealers. So we're not. We have our biometrics done, which we have to pay $85 for. We go, they take our prints, we sign everything. and then they run the background check and another background check to see if you qualify for it. If you do not, then you don't get it. So there's no way we could be criminal. You know, I'm pretty sure a lot of people who are out there who are citizens already are criminals and drug dealers, but that just might be me thinking that, you know. So that one was a big one because, you know, the guy in the White House said that, and I don't know, maybe he does drugs. Number 5, last but not least, is that DACA recipients are stealing jobs for American citizens. False. That is false. A survey taken November 2017 by Tom K. Wong, a political professor at the University of California, San Diego, showed that DACA has been unreservedly good for the United States economy and for the society more generally. Previous research has shown that DACA beneficiaries will contribute $460.3 billion to the United States gross domestic product over the next decade economic growth that would be lost were DACA to be. Most of the DACA recipients, we have jobs because that's kind of like what we came here for. You probably go to school with a DACA recipient. You probably work with a DACA recipient. Your doctor may be a DACA recipient. Just know that. And just because we have jobs, it doesn't mean that we're taking them from someone. We're qualified. We do our work to get those jobs. And actually, you know, there is an unemployment rate with citizens overall. A lot of the citizens that aren't getting the jobs is because they're not qualified for them. Another thing that I was very surprised about was, for example, I have a person that I know whose DACA was lost in the mail. So they were approved for DACA. They were approved for DACA. They got their biometrics done, but then it got lost in the mail. So this person paid the $495, right? They went through the process, they were approved and everything. They technically have the status of DACA. They just don't have the physical card itself, which is required to show to your employer in order to work. So this person, you know, we called and asked the USCIS to see what they could do to get that. So in order for a person who has lost their DACA, like their actual card, or if their DACA got lost in the mail on its way to their house, they have to basically reapply for it, for like a replacement card. And what this does is that you have to pay the $495 again. You have to fill out a form of application again, and you have to send that in. You're already accepted, so it's a little bit faster, I'm guessing, but you still have to pay for that again, and then your expiration date doesn't change. It doesn't matter that you're receiving it again because it's not a renewal. They specifically say it's not a renewal, so the date in which you received it is going to sit down and talk about it, because just getting DACA itself, it's not easy. You know, to have to worry every 2 years to pay a government to allow us to work, it in itself, it just seems very inhumane. It's kind of, it just kind of shows the way that that our government cares for us. You know, we were brought over here as children. I know that if I were ever to go back to Mexico, which I haven't in 12 years, you know, I haven't seen my grandparents. My grandpa passed away like 2 years ago, and my mom wasn't able to go see her dad. We weren't able to go see my grandpa, and that was so heartbreaking to know that. And as much as I love Mexico, and as much as I love the country that I'm from, I know that it doesn't have enough to offer me to become the person that I want to be and to put myself at full potential there. It's very heartbreaking because I know that thousands of people are going through this already, and it's just important for people to know. For those of you that don't know, we're waiting for March 5th to see what the government decides about DACA. But before that, you know, there was a lot of, you know, since September 5th of 2017, they started slowly taking it away for those people whose DACA expired. They weren't allowed to renew it. Thankfully, a judge in California stopped that, and people were allowed to renew it again. So DACA is really important. It affects everybody, not just, you know, those who are receiving it. And I think in order to be able to say that you're a good citizen, you should be informed. You know, if you have any questions, you probably know someone who has DACA. Don't be scared to ask them, what's it like? What do you have to do? Privilege, and know that, you know, we're fighting hard to stay because we know that we deserve it. And then also, when it comes to our parents, you know, we're no one to blame them for, because if it wouldn't be for them, then we wouldn't have this opportunity to be sitting up here and doing what we're doing right now. I don't know what's going to happen March 5th. I don't know what's going to go down. I'm keeping the faith. I'm keeping the hope. So yeah, hopefully something good comes out of it. And if not, you know, we'll find a way to come back from it. There, you know, we've always been able to. And it's unfortunate that the people who are running these things have no idea what it's like to be in our shoes. Those people who are creating all these laws have no idea who they're affecting, because they're just looking up for themselves. And, you know, if there are any more questions about DACA, you know, I'm not an expert about it, but I do live through it. That's why I wanted to make this video and inform more people about it. I'll leave you guys off with the number. You know, over 19,000 youth immigrants have already lost their DACA. That means they're at risk of deportation. You know, they're at risk of losing their families. They're at risk of being, you know, they're unprotected. They're unprotected by their own government, which they've known forever. You know, if we, you know, for any reason, you know, if this country decides to completely abandon those that have been here forever and send them to a country that they don't even know, that they probably don't remember, because we aren't allowed to go back there. We aren't allowed to know it. We lose so much of our culture because we're so scared to go back and not be able to come back to the place we know as home. It's very ridiculous to me, and it's very heartbreaking. 19,000 people are going through this right now, and thankfully, mine expires till next year, and until next year I'll see what happens. I hope that we hear good news March 5th.